Mustang football brought to you by Morgan Federal Bank, your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, from checking to savings to IRAs. 321 Ensign Street, Morgan Federal Bank. There's the difference. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Fresh 12 up on the clock as Harrison Chisholm and James Martins and the rest of the Mustang offense got together to talk about it through the break. As we're getting ready to start fourth quarter action, they face a 3rd and 17 do the Mustangs. Two men spread very wide. Anderson to this near side, Schneider to the far side. A man comes in motion. That's Fitzsimmons from the far side to the near side. Martin's looking to pass. He's got Fitzsimmons on his near side. Dodges the tackle, but will be tripped up and fall as he crosses the 10-yard line. Needed 17 and picked up 6, so that's not going to do it. It'll bring up a 4th and 11 here for the Mustangs, and Zwetzik will come on to punt. A good call that time, though, looking to hit the screen pass as Martins was looking towards the other side of the field, the far side, and quickly came back to this near side where Fitzsimmons was. Zwetzik gets the punt, gets it away, and not a very good one. It'll be picked up at the 46-yard line by Sleeth, and he will just run out of bounds after picking up 1 on the return. They'll give him 2 yards. 44-yard line is where they will spot this ball.
Yeah, you really can't complain about getting the ball that, giving it to Frederick at year 45 when you're trapped under the shadow of your goalpost. Let's hope Fort Morgan's defense can rise up and maybe get another turnover or get a good play.
The officials are doing a nice little tap dance, moving this spot of the football everywhere.
Yeah, they had it in the middle of the field, and obviously the kid ran out of bounds on the near sideline, so they needed to move it to the hash.
Ballman under center. Will turn and hand it to Miller, who will go through the right side, but he'll be met there. Armando Lopez and Jose Miranda stop Miller for a minimal gain.
That's something you don't see very often, Alex. The quarterback hands off to the fullback. The fullback gets kind of held up there, and the quarterback went in there and laid his shoulder in there to try and block and help his teammate out.
And tell me Ballman doesn't like to be involved. The Warriors lead 21-7, 11 and counting on the clock here in the fourth quarter. Ballman under center will run the trap play to Rivera, and he's got nowhere to go. Maybe he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Bohm and Schneider in on the tackle. Looks like Hoffman was in on that as well. Some dirty uniforms. I was joking with Coach Chisholm earlier today. I do not want to be the one that has to launder all of these uniforms later.
Yeah, that was that play that Rivera had success on in the first half where they fake the dive to the right and the pitch to the right, and Rivera cuts back and does cross-buck action and goes off the opposite side. And that time Fort Morgan sniffed it out. A good defensive play by the Mustangs.
3rd and 8, the ball spotted at the 43-yard line of Mustang territory. 8 men up in the box for the Mustangs. Ballman looking to pass. He's got Hall on his near side on a little screen play, and Hall will have enough for the first down, and he is just shy of the 30-yard line. A pickup of 12 on the play.
Yeah, really well-conceived play. Yeah, that's only their second pass of the game. They have all the action going off to the right, like it's going to be a run, and the quarterback just pulls up and throws back. And there's really no home for Fort Morgan.
Hall tackled out of bounds, so the clock stops at 10:14. Ball on this near hash. Tight lineup for the Warriors. Miller gets the give, and he'll be met. Garrett Strobel and Jose Zavala in on that tackle.
Yeah, tough 1-yard gain for Miller on that one. He had a full head of steam, and a couple Fort Morgan Mustangs just put a lick on him.
He met a pair of 280-pounders, and Strobel and Zavala did Miller. Ballman barking out the signals to his line. Now he sets them. will fake the give, and Hall gets the give. He'll fake the pitch out to Miller. Hall gets the give, dives through the middle, but a good job by Fort Morgan as they were able to break through the line and limit the gain that Hall gets. It'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
That was actually a really nice run by Hall, considering the blocking was not there for him. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he sidestepped a couple Fort Morgan defenders just to get a tough 2 yards.
Ballman will go under center again. Same formation, that power I formation. And Ballman steps away from the tackler, and then will be met by a couple more Fort Morgan Mustangs tackler. Jose Miranda in on that mix. And I think you can consider that a loss, as it does go for a loss of 3, yes. And it'll be a 4th and 11 decision time. You're in an awkward spot. If you're Frederick, you might take the delay of game penalty here to give your punter a little bit more room. They do have the punting unit out on the field with a man wide this way. Retchless does have a carry on the year. He will punt the ball away, and it will be down. Wow, great punt by Retchless. It literally dies right before the goal line. Didn't even need a man to pick it up. And the Mustangs have their work cut out in front of them as they need to go 99.5 yards to get to the end zone, with 8:15 showing here in the 4th quarter. Mustang football is brought to you by Premier Farm Credit, committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending.
Yeah, the battle of field position is just being controlled by Frederick ever since that Fort Morgan touchdown. And Fort Morgan's going to have to do something to get out of here without giving up some points to Frederick.
Well, you can't put a half-yard line up on the stadium scoreboard here. If you could, that's what it would read. But instead it reads the 1, so officially the Mustangs will have to go 99 yards. And on the first play of this drive, the give goes to Matt Gono. He dives forward and picks up a half yard. Now we'll see a injury timeout as there's a Warrior player down on the field. And now he is up. A player for the Warriors, Alex Vineyard, the senior. He's got a club, what looks like, those old-time clubs like you saw in Rudy, the film Rudy, around his left arm.
Or for people from my generation, the longest yard.
The original, because the original, that one.
The original longest yard, yes. Burt Reynolds, what a great movie that was.
I think he was in the remake, but I digress. Vineyard is off to the sideline. And it is 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs. It's still in the shadow of their own goalpost. The give again goes inside, not much room. I believe Goto again on the carry, and he'll dive forward for maybe another half yard. And it'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Mustangs.
Yeah, it's just hard. You've got to give your punter some room here, because at the 1-yard line, it's very easy to block a punt or have them step out of the back of the end zone. So we'll probably see another dive here because they haven't gotten it far enough to be able to even punt.
Vineyard does check back into the game, so whatever was ailing him on that last play, he has shaken off. He'll line up on the right side of the D line. Martins will fake the give and try to carry it himself, and wouldn't you know it, Vineyard brings him down from behind. So, checks out for a play, checks back in, and makes a tackle that stalls the Mustangs' drive. And Zwedzig will come back out to punt.
And they've got a punt from tight formation, so they're not going to have very good coverage. Just nothing goes well when you have to punt from within your own 5-yard line.
Zwedzig gets a high snap, and he barely gets it off. Kind of a shake punt. Takes a Fort Morgan bounce all the way to the 40, not quite to the 40-yard line. That's where Yuli Hernandez will down it for the Mustangs. We have a whistle. We'll see what's going on here. Nope, I think the official is just blowing the clock dead for the change of possession. So after the punt, the ball will be spotted at the 39-yard line of Mustang territory. Oh, no, we will have something here. sideline infraction against the Warriors. Again, that's the second one we've seen. I don't think Thad Lear is buying this line judge on the near side dinner anytime soon.
Well, I can't imagine Coach Lear is at all happy with his performance of his team going into next week's showdown for the league title against Windsor.
I guess it doesn't matter. They'll still spot the ball at the 39-yard line, and Ballman looking to pass. He's got a man downfield, and it's broken up, almost intercepted on his near sideline. The player for the Mustangs is still down, having a hard time getting up. That was, I believe, Franco, the safety, filling in for Pineda, and he does not look like he's in good shape. Favoring one of his arms, calling for a sub, and he's got a long way to travel from this near sideline all the way across the field to get to his bench.
Yeah, no one wants to dive out, lay themselves out on this cold field, but he did a good job on the defensive play there.
Ballman will be under center, brings Sleeth in motion, and Miller gets the give through the middle, dives across the 35-yard line, and that is where the officials will spot him. So a gain of 5, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Mustangs, the clock just continues to tick. If I wasn't a Mustang fan, I'd wish the clock would just run off so I could get in someplace warm. But I want them to have a chance to come back and get in this ballgame.
Torn right now between what your mind's telling you and what your body's telling you. As your mind wants these Mustangs to win, but your body says you need to get inside. Ballman keeps the ball himself. I don't think where they've stopped his forward progress that he has the first down. No, he'll be just shy. It looks like a yard shy where they'll spot the football. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Obviously, the Warriors are going to go for it here. 4th and 1.
Yeah, I think if they get this, it's pretty well done if it isn't already.
Fort Morgan still has plenty of timeouts to use, but Ballman keeps it himself on the keeper, and wow, the official on the far side who had the spot, it doesn't look like he's got him with the first down. I don't think he got it, Kevin.
It doesn't look like it. Fort Morgan ball. What a break.
Fort Morgan. So Ballman can't get the yard and a half that he needed for the first down, and they turn the ball over on downs to the Warriors. Fort Morgan's got a little bit of momentum here. 4:57 showing on the game clock remaining in the game. Martins goes to work on the 31-yard line of his own territory. Martin's taking his time, checking off the play, it looks like. We'll see the 4 wide receiver set, and a delay of game penalty by Martins will move the Mustangs back the 5 yards. So you can see the back judge putting his arm up in the air, indicating that there wasn't much time left on the play clock. Martins evidently didn't see that. Took too long there at the line, and with the delay, it'll be a 1st and 15 from the 26-yard line.
Looks kind of like maybe he was trying to read something on his arm, like maybe the coaching staff had sent in a signal for the play, and he wasn't understanding what he was supposed to call.
And in fact, 4 wide receivers. Now Fitzsimmons comes in motion from the far side to the near side. He'll get the pass. No, it was tipped. And the officials will rule that a forward pass. And it'll go down as a incompletion for Martins, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 15.
Yeah, Fort Morgan lucky there that the defender just tipped it. Would have been a pick 6, easy walk-in touchdown, and end of story for Frederick.
No safeties again. The 4 wide receivers for Fort Morgan. Now Fitzsimmons will come in motion. Martins fakes the pass out to him, gives the ball to Godo, who goes through off the right side of the line. Call that a pickup of 7, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
And Fort Morgan needed to get some of that 15 yards back to make 3rd and 4th down more manageable.
4:25 and counting on the clock here. 21-7 our score. Frederick leads the Mustangs. We're in the fourth quarter. The Mustangs taking the ball over after a turnover on downs, and now we will have another whistle and a timeout taken by Harrison Chisholm to talk about what's going to happen here over the next two plays.
Fort Morgan, the back judge was waving his hand. They were about ready to get another 5-yard penalty. Now they have 25 seconds run off the clock, and they waste a timeout to boot.
Mustang football brought to you by Northern Colorado Title. For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer at Northern Colorado Title at 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan. 4:13 on the clock. The Mustangs took the ball over at their own 31. They moved backwards after the delay of game penalty on the first down. And after a 7-yard run from Godo, they find themselves at 3rd and 8 from their own 32-yard line.
Yeah, Fort Morgan's got to get at least halfway there and try to stop the clock, too, if they're going to have any chance.
4 wide receivers, 2 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Godo, the lone man in the backfield. Martin's under center. Now Fitzsimmons comes in motion from the far side to this near side. The fake goes as Martin fakes it to Fitzsimmons. Martin's looking downfield, has his man, and it is caught across the 40-yard line to the 38. The pass caught by Yuli Hernandez. Yuli Hernandez catches that bomb, and now we have a Frederick player shaken up on the play way back at the line of scrimmage. But how about that? Yuli Hernandez with his first catch on the year, and a critical one at that. As that play goes from Fort Morgan's 32-yard line to Frederick's 38.
Alex, on that play, Hernandez was downfield. He had a little bit of a lead on the defense, but the pass was a little bit short. He made a really good job of coming back and adjusting to it and making the catch.
The player for Frederick, Sergey Ruiz, he walks off on his own power. Godo gets the give as we're back to playing. Dives through the middle of the line, nothing doing there, and he'll be stopped for a minimal gain and bring up a 2nd and long.
Yeah, Fort Morgan getting a little momentum, but they've got to get more than 2 yards per play.
And they need to play with a little bit more urgency as the clock is dipped under. Well, it's approaching 3.5 minutes here in the fourth quarter. Honestly, you need to score here and leave yourself a little bit of time to even attempt an onside and get a play. Martin's looking to pass. He's got Fitzsimmons on this near side, and it will be incomplete. Sweet with the coverage on that. Fitzsimmons almost had that, and actually that's probably the best thrown ball we've seen out of Martins today. Right on the money, but the coverage just too good from Frederick.
Yeah, sometimes we don't give Martins enough credit. I think maybe the receiving corps for Fort Morgan, being a running team, they just don't have the kind of kid that can pull down a ball like that in tight coverage.
So it brings up a 3rd and 9 play now as Martins will turn and give the ball to Godo. He dives forward for not many yards. And we'll see the Mustangs face with a 4th down play. Clock will be under 3 minutes by the time they get this snap off. 4th and 7, we'll call it. This is pretty much the ball game here. If you don't pick this one up, you're pretty much done. Mustangs need to pick up a 4th down. Martin's looking to pass, stumbles on this drop, and he will be wrapped up and sacked back at the 40-yard line. Good coverage down the field. Martins didn't really have a shot to throw it to anybody. And the ball will be turned over on downs with 2:46 showing here. And Frederick looking to ice this one away. No pun intended.
Speaking of ice, I think my water bottle, if we're out here for much longer, is going to be iced over. Yeah, I think you're going to see them play some pretty conservative football here and try and run the clock off.
Frederick really doesn't need to score a touchdown. They will turn and hand the ball to Dalton Hall, who will be wrapped up by Armando Lopez as he runs to this near side. He'll be shy of the 45-yard line, and the clock just continues to run, 2:32, 2:31 here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think if they get a first down, if they take a couple plays to get the first down, they'll be able to run it out. Otherwise, they'll need another first down. But Fort Morgan pretty well done at this point.
See a wide receiver to this near side. Ballman taking his time until he sees the back judge throw up his hand to signal the end of the play clock, and Hall gets another carry. This time he goes left, picks up a yard as he couldn't get around tackle, and we'll see Harrison Chisholm use a timeout here. But the third down play can still try and milk some clock. At least we know the head coach for Fort Morgan isn't putting this one away quite yet. With a minute 53 on the clock, the Mustangs take a timeout. We'll keep it here.
You know, it's never over till it's over. I believe that was a baseball Yogi Berra saying.
You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. 1:53 showing here on the clock, 21-7. Frederick leads after the Mustangs take a timeout in front of this 3rd and 5 play. Mustang Football is brought to you by West Tech Rentals. Whether you're a contractor or homeowner, West Tech Rentals is your source for rental equipment and landscaping materials. So the 3rd and 5 play here for the Warriors as they come out of the timeout. Sees Ballman with 3 men in the backfield. He'll send Fleet in motion from this near side. The give goes to Miller, who juts through the middle of the line, gets across the 50, has the first down, and that should just about do it. Clock stops with 1:48 showing on it.
Yeah, good hard run by Miller on that one. Fort Morgan still out there trying to stop them and trying to make a game of it. But at this point, I think Frederick will be able to run the clock out.
Ball just on the Mustang side of the 50. Ballman will let as much clock as he can run before he sets his line, and now he does. Give goes to Hall, who's the deep end of the backfield. He's got a little bit of room to run. Finally, he'll be brought down after gaining another first down. Jose Miranda getting just enough of Hall there to trip him up.
That's Hall's 18th carry of the game. He's definitely Frederick's workhorse. Miller with 11 carries, and Rivera and Ballman both with 10 on the night.
Now we'll see Frederick line up with the clock dipping under a minute now. They'll line up in the victory formation and not add any more to this. So they will just kneel the football and close this one out. For what it's worth, Miller checks in as Rivera checks out.
Well, I'm looking forward next week, Alex, to seeing Fort Morgan get that first home victory against a Sterling team, a longtime rival of the Mustangs.
Ballman takes another knee, and that will do it, as the Warriors will come away here tonight, remain undefeated at home and undefeated in league play. They'll move to 4-0 in both of those categories, while the Mustangs will be handed their first defeat on the road and look to rebound next week against the Sterling Tigers. That game will be the final home game next week for Fort Morgan, and it'll be the seniors' final game, not only at home, but for the Mustangs in general. The two teams shake hands across the field. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get you into our post-game show here from Frederick as the Mustangs fall 21-7. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com.